Hare Krishna. Welcome to the third day of the Kartik Navadwip Parikrama. Today is a very special day. We are visiting Godrum Dvip. Godrum Dvip represents Kirtanam, or chanting the glories of the Lord. In Godrum Dvip, we are visiting Surabhi Kunj, Swananda Sukhada Kunj, Gauradaha, and let's begin the parikram.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Gauranga appeared on Gaur Purnima. It was 14th of March 1486. Gauranga appeared here and Devatas, demigods had assembled up above in the sky, offering their prayers. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutas Stunvanti Divya Istavai. They were praising Gauranga and showering flowers, and Apsaras were dancing, and the singing was going on. So this place, Yogapit, so all Gauranga's pastimes, this is everything started with his appearance. So many pastimes were performed, well, here at Yogapit, and Gauranga performed his pastimes all over Navadwip Dham. Navadvip, as we say, Dham with 9 islands. Navadvip is compared with a lotus with 8 petals, and the world of the lotus, Karnika, that is Antardvip, that is where we are. And our parikrama will bring us to Simantadvip, and then to Godrum Dvip, then to Madhyadvip. Then we'll be crossing Ganga and arrive in Koladvip, where the modern day Navadvip town city, that is Koladvip. Then we will walk to Ritudvip and Janhudvip and Modadrum Dvip, and finally, after visiting Rudradvip, we'll come back to Antardvip. All these dvipas, islands, each one represents the nine processes of bhakti, navavidha bhakti, that you will hear from time to time. This dvip Shravanam. Okay, this is Godrum Dvip Kirtanam. Who is doing Kirtan here? Lord Shiva, personally. Panchamukhe will be visiting Panchanan Tala, place where Shiva with 5 mouths. He has 5 mouths, Pancha Anana. And with all his 5 mouths, he's chanting. Also, Brahma is also chanting, as we hear. Brahma Bole. Chaturmukhe, he has 4 mouths. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Mahadeva Panchamukhe. Rama Rama Hare Hare. So in Godrum Dvip, there's a kirtan. Yeah, so next Dvip, as we mentioned earlier, Smaranam, and then Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakhyam, Atmani Vedanam here in Antardvip. So in every single island, all the nooks and corners of this Navadvip, Gauranga Mahaprabhu has performed his pastimes, which we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita. In fact, we hear more pastimes of Gauranga in Navadvip in Chaitanya Bhagavat, and then Chaitanya Charit of Murari Gupta also describe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Navadvip. But this Dham is, is eternal Dham, and Lord has appeared in all the ages in this Dham. He appeared as a Narasimha in Satya Yuga. So as we visit Narsingapalli, we'll be hear about Lord's appearance in Satya Yuga. And then comes Treta Yuga, and in Navadvip we will hear Lord Ram and Sita, and Lakshman is also there, and so is Hanuman there, and we'll be hearing pastimes of Treta Yuga, of Sri Ram's pastimes in Navadvip. And in the Dwapar Yuga, Lord Sri Krishna appeared to give darshan of King Samudra Sen. Of course, Lord had come to help. Bhima needed help. So Lord appeared and gave darshan to Samudra Sen in Dwapar Yuga. And then, of course, then comes the age of Kali, and Prathama Sandhyayam. At the very beginning of the age of Kali, Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared in this Dham. And this Dham is, Navadvip Dham is non-different from Vrindavan. This is Golok. This Golok Vrindavan part of Golok has two divisions. One is Vrindavan, other one is Navadvip, also called Svetadvip. So Madhurya Leela performed in Vrindavan was relished by Gauranga Mahaprabhu in Navadvip, and not only he was relishing Madhurya Leela, Madhurya of Radha Krishna or of Vrindavan, he also shared that Madhurya with anybody, everybody, magnanimous as Gauranga. That's why we say him Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishay Namaha. I offer my obeisances. This is Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. He was the one to compose and offer this prayer to Gauranga, which is, Lord is Mahavadanya, most magnanimous. So that most magnanimous Lord exhibited his magnanimity in this Dham. So he became known as Mahavadanya, or he became known as Udar. His Audarya, his magnanimity was exhibited here in this Dham. Hence, this Dham gets a name called Audarya Dham. So Vrindavan is Madhurya Dham, Navadvip is Audarya Dham. So they are non-different, and the non-difference will be explained to you as we go around on this Parikrama. Well, the speciality of this Dham also is that all the words Dham, wherever they are. In fact, they are here in Navadvip. As Sri Krishna and Sri Krishna Chaitanya are source of all incarnations. Likewise, this Vrindavan, Navadvip Dham are source of all the dhams. Did you get that? Krishna is source of all incarnations, and Vrindavan, Navadvip Dham are source of all the dhams, all the holy tirthas, places, wherever they are. But they are also originally here. So as we go on Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, we'll be in Naimisharanya, and we will be, we'll be in Varanasi one day, and we will be, even Kurukshetra is here, and like that, on and on, list goes on. All the dhams are here in this Navadvip Dham. So by performance of this Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, now you could very well imagine, you have already performed in that case Parikrama of all the dhams. Only fool would think of then going on Parikrama of this dham, that you already did it. As you did Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. So this dham is like all in one, all in one. So that is the Mahatmya of this dham, and that is also the Mahatmya of the greatness of this Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. And as we understand, this Parikrama was performed by Ishan, Sachi Mata's servant, personal servant, Ishan. He was the first one to go on Parikrama. He took Srinivasa Acharya and Narottam Das, Thakur, and few other, just few, and gave them the tour of Navadvip Dham. And the next one in the line was none other than Nityanand Prabhu. He did Parikrama and he became guide of Jiva Goswami. So they went Dweep to Dweep, island to island, and Nityanand Prabhu was narrating pastimes. Well, some pastimes of Gauranga, because this dham is eternal dham. So the Lord has appeared, as we just now also were talking, Lord appearing in Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, but the previous ages also, the previous kalpa, again, the previous kalpa. So there are so many pastimes this dham has seen. And of course those pastimes, including Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes, the pastimes are also eternal. And we should understand that the pastimes performed here in this dham are also eternal. Nitya Leela and then Pragat Leela. So 500 years ago, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened the curtain and Pragat Leela now. You could see the Leela that I'm now going to perform, you could see. But after closing curtain, Leela goes on. So those Leelas are right on to this day. So, Adhyapiha. लीला करे गौर राय, kono kono bhagyavan, dekhe bare pai. So even today, Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes and other pastimes, other incarnations, pastimes are taking place right here and now. So as we go on for this Navadwip Parikrama, the main activity, the prime activity of all of us we're expected to perform is Shravanam. We want your ears. If you want to understand Dham, hear. So, and by hearing pastimes shared with you by different speakers, you'll begin seeing those pastimes, or that's the idea. You'll be able to enter those pastimes and be totally absorbed with those pastimes. And that way, in fact, we prepare for that future when tyaktva deham punarjanmanaiti, when we give up our bodies, no more birth, no more death, but you will come to me where I reside eternally. So Gauranga resides here eternally. Sri Krishna resides in Vrindavan eternally. So that is our goal, that's our target, to get there. So this Navadwip Parikrama is a preparation. This is sadhana and sadhya also, the means and the goal also, so that one day we finally, as we come here, we do not leave this dham, never ever. So once again we welcome you all. Thank you all for joining this very special Navadwip Parikrama during Purushottam month. So take full advantage, mostly by hearing, and you will not only hear kathas, but you will also hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So throughout this parikrama experience, stay busy with Kirtaniya Sada Hari, always chant Hare Krishna, and always Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, always hear Bhagavat, Gaur Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrit Kathas. So I wish you happy journey on Navadwip Parikrama. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gauranga.
Padmavati Sutta Shriman Sachinandana Purvaja Bhavamata Jagatrata Jagatrata Rakta Gaura Kalevara Rakta Gaura Kalevara.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to Kartik Jatra Navadwip Parikrama from Sri Mayapur Dham.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Padmavati Sutta Shriman Sachinandana Purvaja
Hare Krishna. We're very, very happy to welcome all of you to Surabhi Kunj. One amazing thing about this place is that Bhaktivinoda Thakur stayed in this place for almost a decade. The beautiful songs of Saranagati is said to be written here. The famous book Jaiva Dharma of Bhaktivinoda Thakur is said to be written here. I will show you something, come, quite amazing. This Tulasi Manch is actually from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time. In a Bengali traditional families, you will see outside their homes, the sitting place of Tulsi Devi is there. Every day the householders will come, offer arati, do parikrama, pay their respects to Tulsi Maharani. This place of Tulsi Maharani is there from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time. This is quite amazing. So just imagining how Bhaktivinoda Thakur would come and worship Tulsi Maharani, do parikrama, pay his respects to Tulsi Maharani. And now we will almost a decade where he had written many books, including Jaiva Dharma and Saranagati. Now this particular building, yes, there was some renovation done, but this is the original building where he stayed before he moved to the next temple of Sonada Sukhada Kunj where we are going now. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur was, and he was the judge in Krishnanagar, he was staying here and planning for Namha. Very, very powerful and of great importance to all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. As veranda was still there during Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, the veranda has been a little bit extended, but was there. This is the house, or this is the room where Bhaktivinoda Thakur was staying here for almost a decade, planning for preaching throughout India, throughout the world. It all began here. So it's an amazing place, and we are very fortunate that we still see this place. This is Avadhut Maharaj, and he is looking after this place. He has developed this place, and we have more plans to develop. Actually, this place has been developed mainly by the support of ISKCON devotees. And His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj talks about him very fondly. He likes him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Navadwip ki jai. From this wonderful island of Godruma, there is a story in the Navadwip Parikrama that the Lord Indra, at this time we're observing the Govardhan Puja, Indra made a great offense to Krishna and his devotees. Krishna chastised him and put him back in his position. Indra was very upset about that, but Krishna forgave him. But later he came to see Mother Sarabi, cow. He told Mother, you know everything, you're the Supreme Goddess. I heard that when Krishna's appearing next in Kali Yuga, I'm afraid, because I offended him last time, that I may do the same thing again. Please tell us how I can be free from that offensive mentality. So Swami said, let's go to Navadwip. Let's go to Govardhan, and then we can worship Gauranga, because actually he eternally resides there in the Nitya Leela. When it's time for the Advent, then the Nitya Leela, or the Apricot Leela, the invisible Leela, becomes visible. So they went there and worshipped, they did bhajan, and quite quickly Lord Gauranga appeared to them. Because Lord Chaitanya is very merciful, simply by chanting his name, he became attracted to them. And Gauranga came before them in his most beautiful golden form, and smiling sweetly at them, he said, I know your desire. I know that you're very anxious not to fall in mire again in my next incarnation. So he said, when I appear here, you'll also appear, but don't worry, you'll be so busy engaged in my service, assisting me in my pastimes, because when the Lord appears, the demigods also appear in different forms, or sometimes their own form, to assist the pastimes. He said, then you'll never be caught by Maya. So then Lord, but Sarabi, she stays here. There's a big banyan tree, 8 miles high, and Sarabi Devi eternally stays here, and serving Lord Chaitanya. So this is, the island gets its name from Godruma. Go means cow, and Druma means tree. So this is the island of Godruma. There's another instance there, this in Sarabi Kunj. This is where Bhaktivinoda lived for some time before he moved to his other house, which is nearby where his samadhi is. And there he began his Namhata, was writing there a lot. It's right across the river from if you look from Sarabi Kunj, you can see the TOVP. So, and in that's the place where Sarabi resides. That's the place we know as Sarabi Kunj. And there's a story of Markandeya, who also was illusioned by the Krishna's illusory energy. Actually, he asked for it. In the Bhagavatam, there's a description of the story of Markandeya Rishi, where Markandeya satisfies the Lord by his penance and austerities at that particular time, and the Lord asked him for a benediction. He said, actually, I'm completely satisfied by now seeing you. I'm completely satisfied. But I'm just curious how your material energy works. If you don't mind, can you show me how your material energy works? So the Mr. smiled and he said, "Are you sure?" Okay, Tatastu. So Markandeya's outside his cottage doing his bhajan and next to the river, and suddenly a wind starts to pick up and the leaves start to come off the trees and blowing, and this is a little unseasonal. And it grew into a furious storm, and actually the pralaya began. And and it rained and rained and rained and rained and rained. It's cold, and the water started to come up. The rivers overflowed their banks, and the lowlands got flooded, and it was coming up to his ashram, got flooded, and it covered the hills. And he had this in another Purana. It is mentioned in Navadwip Parikrama. He was blessed to live 7 kalpas, so he couldn't die. So everything else was finished. It was a partial devastation. So he was being sloshed around in the ocean of devastation for years and for centuries and centuries and centuries. And he was becoming very weak. And sometimes he was sick. And sometimes he was in great fear. There were big timingilla fish who were surviving in the water, and big sharks, other fish fighting each other, big dangerous aquatics. He thought he may be eaten up. Sometimes it was a little calm. Sometimes there were huge waves smashing him, and there was no shelter. And sometimes he was sick. Sometimes he felt quite happy when it wasn't so bad. But overall, it was a terrible thing, and he didn't know what would the end be. So, and then he saw an island, and on the island there was a banyan tree, and on the leaf of that banyan tree there was a beautiful blue boy. And he felt so much love for him when he saw that boy. And the boy looked at him, glanced at him, so beautiful. And then the little boy put his big toe in his mouth and began to suck his toe. Right? Always after the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. So he also desires his nectar of his own feet. So as a child you can do that, no one will criticize. That's what babies do, suck their toes. And so then he approached him, and then the boy yawned, and everything came into his mouth, and Markandeya got sucked in like a mosquito. And then he woke up. Then he woke up, and then the Lord breathed out again, and he was back in the thing. Well, then he breathed in again, and then suddenly Markandeya, he was back in his ashram at the side of the river with his cottage, as if although it may have been untold kalpas. How many kalpas? It may have been a long, long time. But it just felt, he didn't know it was actually a dream or for real. Then he realized, I wanted to see that, but what a fool I was. So, the Navadwip Dham has a slight variation of that, like the different Puranas, they have variations of the same story. That when Markandeya was floating around, and he came near here, but that time he was almost unconscious. He was just floating with his head out of the water, and Sarabi saw him nearby. So she pulled him out of the river, and it was land, and it was sunny, and it was nice and warm, and he came to external senses, and he saw this beautiful place. It extended for unlimited space. Lots of trees and rivers and ponds and the birds. were chirping. Beautiful place. And he went, where am I? Where am I? Then he saw Mother Srabi. He said, please, Mother, give me some milk. I'm feeling very hungry. So then Srabi Devi began to offer him some milk. And he said, I'm such a fool, I accepted this boon of a long life without proper understanding. And I suffered terribly. But tell me, how can I come free from this curse of getting a benediction for a long, long life? Then she told him, no, you worship Gauranga in this place. This place, Navadwip, it's not part of the material world. This is spiritual. It's surrounded by the Viroja River, and it's so big you can't imagine these 9 islands. Although we do put a measurement to it, and we walk around them like we're doing, but actually it's unlimited. This Adorya Shakti contains it means as a space which contain a lot more than what would normally happen. You can fit a lot into a small space. So externally it may seem that you can walk around in 3 days, or we do 7 days, but actually within that is that there's unlimited space, unlimited places, and unlimited time. It's like Krishna had the Ras dance. It was so nice that he extended that night for a night of Brahma. It's a long time. So this is the nature of the spiritual world. So she said, stay here. All the holy places are here. All the demigods reside here when they have their vacation. So you do your sadhan bhajan, give up the desire for any kind of salvation or any kind of happiness for yourself, because that's an interference to the worship of the pure worship of the Lord. We should worship Him without self-interest. Worship Him for His pleasure. That is the greatest situation. And then when by doing that will you take shelter of Lord Gauranga, chant His name, and very soon you will receive the shelter of Srimati Radharani. Then you'll be fixed in the service of Radha Krishna, and that's your perfection. Then you don't have to worry about your future anymore. And he said, what happens when I'm chanting the holy name of Gauranga? What will happen to my, how will that karma go away that I have coming? She said, no, when you utter the name of Gauranga, all your karma will be destroyed. You'll have no more distress. Not only you'll be free from the results of your karma, you'll be free from the results of Gyan. Free from the results of karma means you're free from the desire to enjoy, and free from the results of Gyan is free from the desire of peace or liberation from the material world. So you get both things here. You get everything taken away in Navadvip. That's a special benediction you get here. So that place is there. It's just up the road, down the road from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house, across the river from here. So this is it. Island Godram. Here is the places. Srabi Kunj. So you can pray to Srabi Devi, because women are generally more softer than men and forgiving and easily approachable, gentle. So by her mercy, if we ask sincerely as a mother, she's always kind to her children, that she can bless us, that we can also get a taste for chanting the name of Gauranga. And then we hope by his mercy then we'll get service to Radha Madhava. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Jai Guru Ramadvip ki jai, Sarabi Kunj ki jai, Markandeya Rishi ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Dasamati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Ramati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Dasamati Nandana Brajabara Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana.
Hare Krishna. So we just came from Surabhi Kunj where Bhaktivinoda Thakur stayed there for over a decade. And then he moved here. This place is called Swanada Sukhada Kunj, the name of Lalita Sakhi's Kunj in Vrindavan next to Radha Kunj. And this place is very, very historical place because this is the home of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is also where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur stayed. And this place, you see that place was the Bhajan Kutir of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So he used to come very often, sometimes stay here for 2-3 days and do bhajan here. Now we'll see the personal deities of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaur Gadadhar. Please come. This is Krishnadas Prabhu. He was the personal servant of Bhaktivinoda Thakur who served till the last days of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where Bhaktivinoda Thakur was doing Nirjan Bhajan in Calcutta. So this is his Samadhi. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The steps are very narrow, so be careful. So this is the room of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is the same bed, exactly the same bed that was used by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is the bookshelf. That's his chair, that's his table. See that fan there? So that's the fan that was used by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You can see some of his books. And from this veranda, you could see Yogapit, very straight. So during Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, there was no much construction there, totally empty field. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur could see the exact spot of Mahaprabhu's appearance. Of course, that was much before the temple was built. Now we'll go to the next room where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was staying. So this is the personal room of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada tells the famous story when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was only 4 years old. Remember that story about him taking a mango, and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "You have taken the mango. That mango has not been offered yet. How could you take that?" It actually penetrated the heart of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to the point that he felt that he was an offender, that he had accepted something which was not offered to Krishna. He took a vow at that time at the age of 4 that for the rest of his life he would not accept any mango. And Prabhupada says that whenever any devotees or guest would offer him mango, he would say, no, I cannot take, I am an offender. So you can imagine what type of determination he had. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur groomed him to be a world preacher who inspired Prabhupada to go all over the world and preach. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Kori Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Kartik Navadwip Parikrama ki, Godrum Dham ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
তো কীর্তন কীর্তন খুব শুনি, বলো সেদিন আমার এইটা কীর্তন করে তারপর যাবেন, আমাদের উপর দর্শন করে আসুন। এটা আপনার কাছে আমার আবদার কবে হবে।
So he wants me to sing that song. Can you get that harmonium from me?
Kabe habe bala sedina kabe habe bala sedina
शरणे पुलकित देह निरंतर नेत्र जबे अश्रुधारा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are in Nandagram now. Godrumdvip is non-different from Nandagram. And the hill, Nandagaon hill, is non-different from Lord Shiva. Remember when we walked into Bhaktivinoda Thakur's place, there's a beautiful temple of Lord Shiva that represents that. And we're in a beautiful place called Gaura Daha. Gaura means Mahaprabhu, Daha means a lake. So this particular pastime is described in the book called Prema Vivarta by Jagadananda Pandit. He writes, one day Mother Sachi invited him to take the remnants of Mahaprabhu. Mother Sachi every day would cook all the items that Mahaprabhu liked very much. And he lists all the items. After taking the remnants of Mahaprabhu, which was offered by Mother Sachi, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Bakrishar Pandit, Govinda Ghosh, Basu Ghosh, all these exalted personalities, they all came here to this very place that we are sitting right now. And Basu Ghosh began to lead the kirtan while Govinda was playing the mridanga and Bakrishar Pandit was dancing along with Nityananda Prabhu and others. Hearing the melodious kirtan of Basu Ghosh and hearing the chanting of other devotees, all the inhabitants of this place, they all came here. Mahaprabhu along with Nityananda Prabhu began to dance in ecstasy. And Bakrishar Pandit began to dance. And all of you know that Bakrishar Pandit is known for dancing. He could dance non-stop for 72 hours without eating, without sleeping, without drinking water, non-stop for 72 hours. This place was filled with ecstatic love of God. Nothing else could be heard other than chanting the holy name of the Lord. After chanting for quite some time, the Lord saw some cows grazing nearby. And you can see this beautiful place. And it reminded Mahaprabhu of Vrindavan. And he wanted to have a picnic. So this is such a beautiful place. We should have a picnic here. Understanding the Lord's desire, the inhabitants brought lots of milk sweets, rasmalai, sandesh, so on and so forth. And seeing all those milk sweets, Mahaprabhu was very, very pleased. So he sat here along with the associates and honored the milk sweets here. When he had finished, a young cowherd boy named Bhima, he came forward. And with so much love, with such simple heart, that cowherd boy requested Mahaprabhu. He says, "My Lord, you are here. You are my uncle." And he says, "My mother, her name is Syama. She is waiting. She will be so happy to see you. She is waiting for you. I see you eating milk sweets. We are cowherd boys. We are cowherd men. In our house, we have so much milk sweets." And with a very simple heart, he said, "If you come with your associates, whatever I have in the house, I'll offer all that to you. You please come, you have to come." And he took the Lord's hand and he was pulling him, he was begging him, "You have to come." He said, "If you come, you please honor all the prasad. After that, I'll massage your feet. You have to come, you please come." The Lord was moved by his devotion. He went to Syama Govalini's house, Bhima's house, where the Lord and his associates were seated in the Gosala, cow shed. And Syama Govalini, Mataji, put the banana leaves and served all the milk sweets she had in the house. For the second time, the devotees and the Lord honored the milk sweets. When that pastime of honoring prasad was done, then one other cowherd man named Ramdas, he came and he informed the Lord, "My Lord, the cows don't drink water from this pond." Mahaprabhu was very, very surprised. "How come?" He said, "Because there is a crocodile that lives here. And even though the cows wants to drink the water, but they are very, very scared." So the Lord came out with his devotees, and the pond was on the other side of the road, and the Lord instructed the devotees to start the kirtan. And the devotees began to do the kirtan. Now this is the difference between us honoring prasadam and the devotees and Mahaprabhu honoring prasadam. They could eat up to here, and right after that they could start an ecstatic kirtan, whereas we need a good amount of rest. So devotees came here and began to chant and dance in ecstasy. And in front of everybody's eyes, this huge crocodile just came out of the water. And all the devotees were saying they're totally mesmerized, shocked. He comes, Mahaprabhu was chanting and dancing. This crocodile comes and he touches the Lord's lotus feet. The moment the crocodile touches the Lord's lotus feet, he gained his original form. Devasisu, he was like a young demigod. The devotees were shocked. So the Lord asked, "How come? What happened to you? How did you get this form of a crocodile?" So he began to tell him. As a young demigod, I was very, very naughty. I was in Vrindavan, in Kamyavan, and I saw Durvasa Muni lying down, resting there. So I took a knife or a scissor and I cut the matted hair of Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni is someone that you don't want to play around with too much. He is known for his anger, he is known for cursing. So because this young demigod cut the matted hair of Durvasa Muni, so Durvasa Muni was very, very upset. He wasn't very happy with what this young demigod did, and he cursed him, said, I curse you to be a crocodile for 4 yugas. That's a long time. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, 4 yugas. So the Devasisu began to cry. He fell at the feet of Durvasa Muni. Please forgive me, please forgive me. I've done a mistake, I have offended you, please forgive me. So at that time Durvasa Muni became very pleased. He said, don't worry, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will appear as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Upon hearing his kirtan, when you come out of the water and touch the Lord's lotus feet, you will regain your original form. So upon relating this story to the Lord and his devotees, Devasisu went back to his place in the heavenly planets. Now here it is explained, Sei hoite Gauradaha Nam Parachar. Since that time, this lake or this place became known as Gauradaha. This pond is named after Mahaprabhu. This place is non-different from Kaliyadaha in Vrindavan. And Sei daha darshane sporshane papakhay. Anyone who sees this place, anyone who touches this place, Krishna bhakti labh hoy sarve vedekhay. It is described in the scriptures that that person will get love of Godhead. So that is the power, that is the potency, spiritual potency of this place. So this place is situated in Navadwip. We are in a place called Gauradaha, and just look at the enchanting beauty of this place. During the Parikrama, the devotees come here and they roll on the ground, remembering the pastime that the Lord, along with Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Bhakrishwar Pandit and other devotees chanted for hours and hours. So remembering that this place is touched by the Lord and his devotees. So the dust from the Lord's lotus feet and his associates, they're all here. Therefore, remembering this pastime, the devotees roll on the ground. So why would you want to lose this opportunity? So you can pay your obeisances, you can roll on the ground, because there is some nice grass here. I'm sure there is some, yes, there is some plain land there, so you can roll on the ground. After that, I will have prasad here. Mahaprabhu honored prasad here, so we will also honor prasadam here. I'm not sure if we have milk sweets. If you are served, then be happy. If not, then you can honor mentally and be fully satisfied. You can take as much as you want mentally. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauradaha ki, Sriman Mahaprabhu ki, Hare Krishna.
Nadia Gojrum Nityananda Mahajan. Nadia Gojrum Nityananda Mahajan. Nadia Gojrum Nityananda Mahajan. Nadia Gojrum Nityananda Mahajan. Patiya Chinam Hat Jibera Kharan. Patiya Chinam Hat Jibera Kharan. আছে নাম হাতে জীবের আকারণ
বন্দিয়াছে নাম হাতে জীবের আকারণ
শ্রদ্ধাবান জন হে শ্রদ্ধাবান জন হে
Hare Krishna. To make this virtual Kartik Navadwip Mandal Parikrama available to all of you, it took a lot of effort. If you are inspired to contribute for this Kartik Navadwip Mandal Parikrama, kindly do so. The details are in the description. Thank you.
Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Goro Krishna Shika
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 অপরাধ শূন্য হইল কৃষ্ণ নাম
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 কৃষ্ণ মাত কৃষ্ণ পিত কৃষ্ণ দান প্রাণ
কৃষ্ণ মাতা কৃষ্ণ পিতা কৃষ্ণ দান প্রাণ
কৃষ্ণ মাত কৃষ্ণ পিত কৃষ্ণ দান প্রাণ
কৃষ্ণ মাতা কৃষ্ণ পিতা